The Vain Little Mouse. Once upon a time, in a little cozy house tucked away in a quiet corner of the forest, there lived a small, gray mouse named Pip. Pip was like any other mouse in many ways. Quick, curious, and always on the lookout for tasty crumbs. But there was one thing that set Pip apart from all the other mice. She was extremely vain. Pip adored looking at herself in the shiny surfaces of the kitchen utensils. She would often spend hours admiring her fluffy tail and soft, silky fur. She liked to think that she was the most beautiful mouse in the entire forest, and she would often boast about her appearance to anyone who would listen. One day, as she sat before a polished silver spoon, admiring her reflection, she heard the sound of footsteps approaching. It was her friend, a wise old mole named Mortimer, who was known for his kind and thoughtful nature. "Good day, Pip," said Mortimer, adjusting his little spectacles as he came near. "What are you doing?" "Oh, Mortimer, I am simply admiring my beauty," said Pip with a proud flick of her tail. "I am the most graceful, the most elegant mouse in the entire forest. Look at my fur. So smooth and shiny. Look at my tail. So fluffy and perfect. No one could possibly compare to me." Mortimer, who had lived a long and humble life, looked at Pip with a gentle smile. "Pip, I don't doubt that you are very lovely. But beauty isn't everything. A kind heart and a generous spirit are worth more than anything else." Pip laughed and flicked her tail dismissively. "Oh, Mortimer, you're just too old-fashioned. Who cares about kindness and generosity when you can be as beautiful as I am?" But Mortimer shook his head. "Perhaps, but remember this, Pip. True beauty comes from within, and the heart that is kind and true is the most beautiful of all." Pip huffed and turned her attention back to her reflection, ignoring Mortimer's advice. The next day, as she ventured out into the forest, she came across a group of forest animals, a rabbit, a squirrel, and a bird, gathered together by a pond. They were having a grand time, laughing and playing together. Pip, seeing the group from a distance, puffed out her chest and walked over with a haughty air. "Hello, everyone," Pip said, trying to catch their attention. "I just wanted to let you all know that I am the most beautiful creature in the forest. No one has fur as perfect as mine, and certainly no one has such a lovely tail." The animals paused and looked at each other, then smiled kindly. "Oh, Pip, you are certainly a beautiful mouse," said the rabbit. "But beauty isn't all that matters. What truly matters is kindness and how we treat one another." Pip rolled her eyes. "You're all just jealous," she said. "You can never look as good as I do." And with that, she turned on her heel and scurried away, leaving the animals behind. She didn't realize that they were not jealous at all, but rather they felt sorry for her. They knew that she was missing out on the joy of true friendship, kindness, and the warmth that comes from sharing love with others. Later that afternoon, while Pip was walking through the forest, she stumbled upon a grand feast of food. Berries, nuts, seeds, and soft cheeses, laid out on a blanket. A family of birds had set the table, and the smell of the food was irresistible. She was about to dig in when she noticed something strange. The birds were singing, but they were not alone. They were singing for a tiny, injured squirrel lying in the middle of the blanket. His fur was torn and his paw was bandaged. The birds had shared their food with him and were comforting him as he recovered from his injury. Pip watched the scene for a moment, and something in her heart stirred. She realized that it wasn't the beautiful feast or the shining food that mattered to the squirrel, but the care and kindness of the birds. The squirrel, despite his injuries, was smiling, and the birds were happy to help him. Just then the wind blew, and the sun shone warmly through the trees, casting a golden glow over the scene. Pip could see how much joy the little squirrel and the birds had in their hearts, even though they had no grand decorations or fancy clothes. Their kindness had made their gathering beautiful in a way that far surpassed anything she had ever experienced. Pip's heart began to soften. She realized that her vanity had kept her from seeing the true beauty of life, beauty that came from love, friendship, and kindness, not just from appearance. The moment was a turning point for her, and she felt a desire to change. She wanted to learn what true beauty really was. With newfound humility, Pip approached the birds and the squirrel. "Hello," she said, her voice softer than before. "I'm sorry for what I said earlier. I think I've been too focused on myself. You see, I've realized that there is more to life than being beautiful on the outside. Your kindness to each other is what makes you truly beautiful." The birds and squirrel smiled warmly. "Thank you, Pip," said the squirrel. "We are happy to have you join us. You are always welcome, no matter what you look like on the outside." Pip smiled shyly. "I think I would like to be more like you, kind and caring to others." From that day on, Pip no longer spent all her time admiring herself in the shiny surfaces of the house. She became known for her kindness and generosity in the forest. She helped the other animals gather food, and she comforted those in need. And over time, Pip found that her true beauty shone brighter than it ever had before, not because of her fur or tail, but because of the love she shared with her friends. And so, the vain little mouse learned the most important lesson of all. True beauty comes from within, and it is kindness and love that make the heart truly beautiful. End. Moral of the story. The vain little mouse teaches us that outer beauty fades, but the beauty of kindness, generosity, and love lasts forever. A beautiful heart is more important than a beautiful appearance, and true happiness comes from caring for others.